Hello again, Rob McNeilly. So welcome to the second video in this series. Today I want to explore some ideas about listening. Now, we usually think of listening as being something to do with our ears and hearing, but actually it's not quite like that. When we pay attention to what we mean by listening, it's a process by which we give meaning to something. It's not a matter of just hearing the sounds, but when we hear the sounds, what do those sounds mean to us? So also we know in our work how important listening is. We need to be a good listener. We know that. But how do you listen? How do we listen? What can we do to make our listening more effective, more relevant, more useful? And one of the ways that we can explore this area, so critical, so central, is to think of what we are listening for. Now, in a problem-solving approach, we listen for information so we can make a diagnosis so that we can then treat the condition. In the solution approach, we're more inclined to listen for resources, for disconnections, for areas where someone has got out of touch with something, or for area of learning. So when we're listening for possible solutions, our listening is going to be very different from when we listen for possible causes or for possible diagnoses. Also, there's a way we can talk about listening as being from our head, where we're listening intellectually for information. We can say, speaking metaphorically, that we're listening for our heart, so we're listening for emotions. We can say, I'm listening from my gut with our intuition. So depending whether we're listening from our head for intellectual understanding, from our heart for an emotional connection, from our gut for some kind of insight that's intuitive, so the different places that we listen from will affect how we make sense of what a client says and what a client hears that we're speaking. So my invitation is for you to start to notice when you're with a client, what are you listening for? Are you listening for understanding, for diagnoses, for causes, or are you listening for possible futures, for opportunities, for areas of disconnection, areas that we can explore, and to just notice what it's like when you listen from your head, from your heart, from your intuition. What it's like when you listen for causes, diagnoses, intellectual understandings, as distinct from listening for who this person is, how they learn, what's possible for them, what is it that they believe, what possible different futures might be there, and in particular, if we start to listen for concerns, what are the values that this person has? Who are they at a soul level? So see what happens if you listen, and the result of listening in those two different ways, from those different places, gives a very different direction, very different outcome. And so if you can start to pay attention to that, be curious about that, and see what you can discover, it's an area that we can all become more sensitive to, we can learn in this area of listening, and in that way we can add a lot to the effectiveness of our work. See you in the next video.